Hey, all you Splinterheads. Welcome back. If you're new here, thanks for dropping by. I appreciate everyone stopping and taking a few minutes out of their day to spend with me to hopefully get a few updates and maybe learn a few things. I'm Bronze Dragon. I like to cover blockchain related gaming information. Up till now, it's been mostly Splinterlands, but lately, since the advent of Splinterforge, I've also been playing Splinterforge, and I do have some other blockchain games that I haven't done videos on, but I have been thinking about making some videos on them as well. Maybe just like a general video of what I've been doing, but I do play some games on the Wax blockchain as well. So anyway, with that said, I do have kind of a feature-packed video here, so I hope you stay with me. And if you draw anything out of this video, please leave me a like. And after you've watched a few videos of mine, if you feel like you want to get notifications and everything, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell, you know, the usual thing. So I do plan on just kind of a roadmap, kind of future-looking statement here. I do plan on adding video to my videos, in other words, so you can see what I'm saying, because this is going to be in conjunction with, I'm also thinking about starting doing live streams on Saturdays. So please leave in the comments if you think that's a good idea, if you're not really concerned about it. But I would like to do like this Saturday morning stand-up, I'm calling it, and I would like to do it live and have people join in. Also, in conjunction with that, I was thinking about also starting a Discord channel. And this would be a channel linked primarily for the live events, but it would also be there for people to chat about Splinterlands related things going on, ask questions and everything. As you know, if you've been watching videos from me, I'm not a high-end whale, but I have been playing for almost 2 years at this point. Well, roughly since basically the end of, let me check my cards here, Untamed. And the reason why I checked is because I always want to say unlimited for some reason, because that's pretty much when I started playing Magic back in the day. But I always get Untamed and Unlimited messed up. Anyway, I started at the end of Untamed, and I've been playing since then. Also, a word on how because I kind of put play in air quotes. What I actually play are my guild brawls. I do have a couple accounts. One account I have that is played with the Archmage bot, and the other account is strictly for rentals. And I have that going with the Splinter Rents bot on Discord. And this setup has been going pretty good with me. I do get a little play on the weekly basis with brawls, but everything else is pretty much done by the Archmage bot, which I've had, you know, pretty good luck with. It doesn't play a lot. It's not like one of those bots that spams all the time, but I do play between the bot is set to play between 1 and 2 times an hour. I like to keep my account at about in the 70 percentile ECR range. So with that said, I have several things to go over. This is kind of my end of the week, kind of cover a lot of things video, as I do have a full-time job during the week. So the items I want to hit are my weekly activity in Splinterlands and Splinterforge. Hey, what have I been doing? I always try to, on a weekly basis, improve my deck a little bit. I do want to spend a few minutes on the new proposals. They both look good to me, just as a short version, but I do want to discuss them a little bit and make sure you go and vote on those. I do want to take a look at, because another big topic this week with a lot of the other YouTubers has been the new soulbound rewards cards and how they see them, how they're... I guess maybe their point, well, it's not maybe. Their point is maybe the rewards cards are coming out too fast and too plentiful to sustain. Anyway, we'll hit on that. And then that kind of goes into, and we'll finish up with how my rewards cards are are doing at this point. So we're about 2 weeks in, so we'll cover that. Let's go ahead and start with what I've been doing this week. So let's jump over to Peak Monsters, and let's jump up to, no, not my profile, my Explorer. And let's look at my history, see what I've been doing. You can see a lot of activity and over this last 7 days, and I will kind of let you in on what I've been doing this week. Let's just start with 7 days ago, because that's the last time I made a video. I opened a couple packs on video, and these were rewards for last Saturday. I don't think I got anything interesting in those packs. There was a gold common there. We'll go over my rewards, but I'll just briefly sum it up and say that the first few days the rewards were out, I got a lot of cards. I got a few summoners, and I'm like, wow, this is a lot. But it kind of seems to me, and I don't have any numbers to back this up, but it kind of seems to me that they backed off, maybe changed the drop rates. I don't know. That's just a guess, because since the first, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, the amount of cards I've been getting, and just to give you a comparison, I'm drawing diamond chests most of the time. Currently, I'm in gold because of the new season just started, and I haven't worked my way back to diamond. But anyway, so I did a bunch of card combinations. Basically, all my rewards cards, I've just been combining them. So on a daily basis, I can look in and see what new ones I have. Obviously, the goal is to get these cards up to gold, high gold, diamond level, so I can start playing them, or the bot can start playing them. So I did buy some baby unicorn cards to level these up. And this is not necessarily for playing in Splinterlands, but I've been playing this card in Splinterforge. So I bought some, leveled this up to, I believe, level 6. Let's go here and look there. Yeah, level 6. Because at level 6, it picks up swiftness. So it starts off with strengthen, and really in the hand, in the Splinterforge hand, this is what you want. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage. I mean, in the combination I have, it does a little bit more damage than this, but you're wanting those buffs, because as soon as you lay this card in your hand in Splinterforge, it gives all your other cards strengthen and swiftness. And if you've been playing Splinterforge, you know what you want is that swiftness. You want that extra speed. So let's go back. Rewards, this would have been last Sunday. A few more cards, Ferox Defender and Coastal Sentry commons, and Gobson Bomber, 7 of them. That's another card that I'm really looking at. So we'll talk about that in the future, here in a while, whenever I talk about the status of my rewards cards. Once again, I combine those cards, keep them up to date. This would have been last Monday. A few more cards, Noah the Just and the common, so that was a nice one. 21 SPS. The combines on that. Another purchase. Okay, so where we're going into with my activity now starting, which would have been a few days ago, is that I watched a video, and I'm trying to remember the name of the YouTuber that put this out. I think it was Cryptomancer. And he was discussing how really the bot farmers are taking off and using their accounts to go ahead and farm these soulbound rewards cards, because after they start farming them, they'll build up a base of soulbound rewards cards that those accounts can use forever, basically, to keep playing in the game. And it's a very valid point. I had this idea when I guess back when we all started discussing the whole soulbound reward things, but I didn't stay on the idea and think it out, kind of like Cryptomancer does. He's very detailed in his investigations on an idea. But I didn't say anything at that time. I had that anyway. So flash forward, after I watched the video, I was thinking to myself, well, I have another Archmage token, and it's sitting around and it's not being used. So why shouldn't I just start up another account? And for the record, I'm not some huge bot farmer. This is a total of 3 accounts for me, and only 2 are actually playing the game. The other's renting. So anyway, with that long drawn out explanation, I started up a 3rd account, and you will see some cards that I bought, and a lot of cards I just transferred that I had laying around sitting doing nothing to the account to start playing in a Silver League type deck thing. So this was one of them. Combine, and then you'll see a bunch of transfers starting, and these are basically transfers I did from one account to the new account, so it has a few cards to play with. Now here's probably one of the big moves I made this week, and it's not going to say what it is, so I'll tell you what it is. After listening to the town hall, I was thinking to myself, and a fair amount of the town hall this week was dedicated to land, like it has been in the last few weeks, because that's the big topic on everybody's mind. I have 3 plots of land. I'm not a huge landowner, but I have 3 plots. And at that time, I had 2 common totems. Well, now I have 3 common totems. So I bought a common totem this week, and I believe I bought it off Cryptomancer. But I bought it for $20, $19.99. So now I have 1 for each, and whatever that ends up doing, it's you put a totem on the land. It's supposed to boost your intake of production resources or whatever. So we'll see. But I just kind of wanted to be prepared. Those totems on the market are limited at this point, but I think in the future they may release some other ones. I'm not for sure, but I don't think that's I don't think the totems at this point are cut off. It's just these were the totems that were originally released at the beginning of the game when they did pre-sales and such, and that's what's been on the market. So I have 1 common totem for each land I have. Here's some more rewards. Ferox Firecaller. Kind of looks like the Ferox Defender. But and some more Gobson Bombers. This would have been the end of season claim. And I have a video up on that, so I won't go over that. These packs were opened during the end of season video, and if you want to check those out, you can. Here's a bunch of card combinations I did. Once again, these are all due to the end of season and packs I opened. Bunch of those. We won't go through all those, but basically keeping my soulbound rewards cards and my Gladius cards up to date. I guess we can filter by soulbound, and then you can see the soulbound cards as well as the Gladius cards, which the Gladius cards are soulbound, but different type. So, oops, wrong tab. And you can see I did a bunch of combinations, but I wanted to get everything up to date. Then we're rolling into about 3 days ago when I started the activity of these are cards that I combined and transferred over to my new account. So I won't go through all these, but suffice it to say that the new account has just a smattering of silver level cards to get it going. Another purchase I made specifically for that new account was level 5 Murd Hemp here, I believe. Basically, trying to, as I always do, get good value as far as price goes, and equip that new account with some cards that will help it out. Once again, this falls under the same kind of thing. Cheaper cards that offer good value and are good play cards. And I won't go through all these and bore you, but they're kind of the usual suspects, the cheaper cards that you can get a level 5 or 6 for not too much money and help your account out, you know, if you're playing a low-end account. Now these rentals are all, if you're keeping track, for Archmage primarily, and that's the hand I'm playing in Archmage. Now some of these cards I have chosen to level up. Where's the bear at? Okay, so I rented a bear this last week, but this Friday, if you've been keeping track over the last few weeks, I've been leveling up my Archimist 1 level per week, and this week I got my Archimist to level 7, so I won't have to rent that anymore. Level 7 on Archimist is kind of the magic level because it grabs force field. Now, this is the argument in case of you are playing on the gold. If you're playing on the silver boss, then you're not going to be able to play level 7. But he does pick up force field at level 7. And here's a bunch of transfers to that new account. Here's another rewards claim. Not much. Like I said earlier, this whole week it's been kind of mediocre at best as far as my rewards. And this is the Archimist level up I just talked about. My one kind of, if you've been following along, you know that I've been purchasing 1 alpha card per week, and I started at the low end and working my way up. So this is where I am currently. This was my alpha purchase this week, right around $1.50, $1.49. So now I have a healer, and I transferred it to my rental accounts because sometimes those alpha cards run out. Another rental for Splinterforge. This would have been my rewards from yesterday, which would have been February 17th. A couple Wily Coyotians, 6 Ferox Defenders, 3 Coastal Sentries. More combines of those to keep those up to date. And this morning I had to rent out this guy because once again I'm using this one in Splinterforge. Now in Splinterforge, we'll jump over here. I've been playing Splinterforge a fair amount, and at this point, I will just go ahead. I do have some cards that, excuse me. Had to take a little sip of coffee. My voice was going. So I've been playing the Warrior chiefly because I don't have much good equipment for my other characters, and I have leveled it to the point where I do have rare rubies in all my equipment, and currently I have epic in all slots. The only legendary I have is the tome on my mage, but I don't use that mage because it's not equipped very well. With that said, I do have +4 health rubies because I feel that really at the heart of it, this game is about having enough health and having a lot of speed, as much speed as you can have, right? So I'm still working on the speed, but that requires basically a lot of money. Just like any of the other these games, right? It requires pumping in a lot of money, and there's a lot of people. Let's go to the boards here. I'm currently fighting in gold. Let's look at recent battles. See, if you see that, that's a huge high-end hero. If you're not familiar with the equipment and what goes through buying and leveling up equipment in this game, this hero does 13 range damage, 27 speed, 25 and 25 on the health and shield. That's really almost as high as you can get it. Of course, you have to give and take depending upon which runes and which stones you use, what you're going to buff. But 27 is going to be the max speed, and that's only because, well, 25 is really max, but he has an extra 2 because of the kitty there for speed, right? But anyway, my main point is that this kind of hand is really using the hero to do the damage. Most of these others are just here to slow down the boss and then to buff his main character there, right? So this is a huge high-end hand, and I'm nowhere near that. But I was just kind of giving that to a reference point. And we can look at my hero and you can look at my stats. So I've been concentrating on life because it's better to concentrate on life, in my view, than shield. Because just like in Splinterlands, if you get hit with magic, it's not even going to, it's going to bypass that shield. So why not just pump it into health, right? Obviously, the main characteristic you're going to want to look at is speed. And speed, they do have a gem supposedly going into the game. It's not live yet for plus speed, but at this point what you're looking at is either boots, because boots give you, let's go back to cards, boots will give you speed like this. This is standard epic boots, gives you 2 speed, but if you level them up it goes 2, 4, 5, 7, and if you have legendary boots, they're even better. They give better stats, but increasingly more expensive, just like everything else. Now, if you swap heroes and go over to the ranger, then the quiver will give you speed. And the same kind of argument there. Well, that's the rare one. Either way, that's what I've been working on, and I have not, as we talked about, I don't think I'm going to buy any more crates, because I had incredibly bad luck with crates. My brother had better luck. I think total up, I bought 34 with his bulk buy, and then I bought 20 something or other at the beginning. So I've opened a little bit more than probably 50 crates, a little bit more, and like I said, I've got the one legendary to show for it. Now I do have some epics, and I've been trying to sell them, because ultimately I think what I want to do is I want to just level up legendaries, because, and my brother and I had this discussion yesterday via text, it's just incredibly expensive to level up these epic cards. So if you look at this, it takes 16 cards to level to level 2, right? And currently, now boots are a very popular item on the Discord trading, P2P trading channel, and currently boots are going for about 5,000 Forgium each. And if you multiply that out, just getting to second level is a lot more expensive than just going ahead and buying a legendary set of boots. Now the other pieces are a little bit cheaper, but the same argument applies. It's a little bit cheaper to just buy legendary and level up legendary, because if you look at legendary, I'll just use this as an example, you only need 3 cards to level up. And yes, legendaries are more expensive, but they're not as expensive as leveling up epics. So that's my reasoning behind just trying to switch over. If you're out there, you're one of my subscribers, and you want to trade some cards, let me know, because I do have some epics that I'm looking to trade and trade up to legendaries. We might do a bulk deal. I do have a few gold rares as well to trade off or sell. Anyway, that's not really an advertisement, but you know, it's kind of one of the things about having a small group of people that if you want to be friendly and trade around, buy, sell, trade, things like that. So with that said, let's go ahead, and I also wanted to look at the status of my soulbound cards, where we stand now. Filtering down, because one of the big talking points this week amongst everyone on the YouTube channel circuit was the fact that a lot of people agreed that they thought that there was too many rewards cards were being issued too quickly, in other words, because the word from Splinterlands was that these would be issued for between 1 and 2 year period. Now let's just stop there, and I'll say that I think 2 years is too long to have one set out. Some other people, some other YouTubers have gone on, you know, made videos about this, and they had expressed, you know, periods in between 3, 6 months, things like that, where they thought that the sets should flip around. I think at the current status, with them just Splinterlands just downsizing the team, I think that 6 months would be too quick to turn around a new set, you know, with everything that goes into it, artwork, play testing, all that. Now, from a player perspective, I think I would like that, but from a development perspective, I can see that that would not be possible unless they beefed up their staff again. But I will say that I kind of like the year, the 12-month thing. I think that if these were available for 12 months and then it rolled over to a new one, I think that might be a little bit more doable for their team. And like I said, I have no insight to the size of the team. I just know that they had heavily been reduced at the end of the year. And we all went through that, right? I do like the idea of maybe a year. The rewards cards being out for a year, and then they cycle over. Now, back to the topic of them coming out too quickly. Like I mentioned earlier, the first few days, I got a lot of cards. And I was, you know, opening diamond chests. And then they really drastically slowed down. So we'll take a look at, we're about 2 weeks in from when they started dropping and the big changeover, and we'll take a look at what I've got, because I've got them all you know, combined and up to date. Let's first just filter by commons, okay? And this is what I have. Ferox Defender at level 4 plus, and you can see the bar where I'm combined. Firecaller 3, almost to 4. Swamp Spitter 2, better than midway through. Coastal Sentry at 3, halfway through. Fungus Flinger at 1, halfway through. Terracious Grunt at 2, almost to 3. Imperial Knight at 2, just into 2, a few extra. Drybone Barbarian 2, almost to 3. Possessed Puppet at 1. Wily Kaioshin at 3, Gobson Bomber at 3, and Dumaki Orc at 3. So we can safely say that I got a fair amount of commons, because they're common, right? And most of them are in the 3 range, with a few, with 1 going into 4. Now let's look at rares. Powerwatch Devil 1. Madcap Mages, which I'm really looking forward to using when I get it leveled up, just into 2. One of the summoners I got, Lob Lowland, at 1. I got 2 copies. War Pegasus at 2. Helios Matriarch, another one of the summoners I got, almost halfway to 2. I've got like a few copies of that. And Raven Hood Warden at 2. So you can see at rares, I've got a lot fewer. And you know, this is what you would expect, right? As you go up in rarity. Got a few Know the Just, and got a couple Thane new songs, which I am really looking forward to using in combination with Cola Mastermind. And I got one of him. Let's click this off. So I just got one of each of these legendaries, right? Musa Saline. But I'm looking forward to using the Kulu Mastermind, because you pair up that Kulu Mastermind with the Thane new song, and see, he doesn't have any attack right off, but he gives all your mobs or all your monsters +1 melee attack. Now what Kulu Mastermind will do is go ahead and give him half of his attack. So he'll get 2 attack plus who's ever in the other position on the other side of Mastermind will get the 2 attack as well. But I'm looking mainly, and you stack in that team a few other buffs, like some speed and some extra damage. And I can see this being really interesting. But nevertheless, you can see also that there's a fair amount of them that I still haven't. I'm looking forward to that Riverboat Captain, by the way. There's a fair amount of them that I still haven't even gotten one of. So with that said, I think that at this point in time, and I'm just making a guess, that they already made a slight change in the amount of drop rate. If I had to go by the cards I've gotten over the last week, I would say that it's going well. Now, if we judged by the first few days, I would say, yeah, it was too much drop rate. But and of course, it's just all luck, right? I mean, you may like Dwayne said in one of his videos, there's two different things in play here, right? There's the percentage chance of you getting a card, and that card being, you know, common, rare, epic, or legendary. And then there's the percentage chance of you getting multiple BCX of that card. And from what I've seen, the commons, I've got up to like 7 BCX in diamond chests. And then up in legendary, I'm only getting 1, which is kind of what you would figure, right? And I think in epic, there was one time I got a 2. But, you know, as it goes up in rarity, then you're getting fewer. So that's the other argument. Now, I will tack on one extra thing that wasn't really mentioned. We also have one more variable going now in the fact that we're using potions. Okay. In the past, we got very few cards because you were getting single BCX each time. So it took a lot longer to build up a card, right? Most of the time you found a card or rewards card that you liked, you just had to go on the market and buy multiple BCX and combine up to whatever level you were using, right? So from my viewpoint, I think it's going well, but there's also that extra little caveat there that we're now spending potions on each chest that has a card in it to up your availability as far as rarity of cards and also hitting a gold. Okay. Because I've also got 1 gold. So not that many. So that's the status of my cards as far as soulbound goes. I also wanted to jump over here and take a look at my Explorer dashboard. One of the other points I wanted to see was what has Splinterlands been doing since the new soulbound rewards cards started. And here we can look at, on the left here, we can look at the amount of transactions. Okay. And you can see over the last month, it's went way down. Okay. I don't want to say half, but it is half of where the peaks are, right? And this is without getting the calculator out and doing the math, right? But we can see a lot less transactions on a daily average, right? Now over here, the other item I wanted to look at was the battles. Now, we will see that the red is total battles. I think total, yeah. Anyway, we look at modern and wild. Modern being blue and wild being purple, right? And here we were before the changeover. Here we are during the changeover, the few days of the changeover. And here the bots are catching back up, right? And we can see that in wild, it seems like they are much less, like half the amount of what they were as far as battles on a daily basis. Now the modern seems to be tracking up, and they're at the levels they were pre-changeover, if not a little bit more. So this leads me to conclude that the bots are back up and running, just as Cryptomancer mentioned in his video on the topic that led me to start a third account. And we can conclude, just as he talked about in his video, that the bots are amassing soulbound rewards cards for the purpose of just using those forevermore, right? It's a very tricky subject, and he puts a lot of points out in his video. In fact, I'll leave a link to his video in my show notes so you can reference it if you haven't watched it. But it's if you've been around for a while, it's almost like I'm just getting tired of this whole trying to keep one step ahead of the bots. It's impossible. Over the last 2 years, it's been this series of changes that all were focused on getting rid of the huge bot farms or trying to limit how they could affect the overall game. And it's just one thing after another. And we get to a point where like, oh, we'll do soulbound rewards cards. That's going to solve it. And then, bam, it doesn't solve it. So, well, with that said, let's go ahead and end this video. Thanks for staying with me. If you've stayed this long, I appreciate your time. Hope you've drawn something from this video. But let's go ahead and open. I don't have any regular packs to open, but I do have a Gladius case to open. So let's open a Gladius case. Just because I like to end a video by opening something. And it's just a normal Gladius case with one rare. Why am I getting this lag? Please leave in the comments if you have any questions about what I discussed. And also, if you have ideas for future videos, go ahead and put them in. I do read the comments, and I try and reply whenever there's something to reply about. If somebody makes just a general statement and I agree with it, I'll just give it a thumbs up, So reply in the comments what you think about me starting a Discord channel and changing this weekly stand-up on Saturday to a live stream. So I'm not going to hold this video any further because this looks like it's locked up. So I'll end with that, and I will see you on the flip side.